I completely ballsed that up. I tried to casually unmute my mic, but instead I switched scenes 74 times. Uh, that was shit. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Finn, and this is Crack of Noon. Welcome, everyone. It is Monday, my dudes. I don't think that meme works unless it's Wednesday. It's the 16th of July. It is roughly noon. I'm going to call it a success that we started even this soon. It was a botch, yes, Caleb. How you doing, sir? Welcome. Why are you up? I know why you're up, because you have a shitty sleep schedule, don't you? You're still recovering from that Extreme Rules. That was so extreme. I don't know why my face is so bright. I'm going to try to close the blinds a little bit, just so it's less, like, divine over here. So, hold on. Okay, should be a little. It's still a bit bright if I go over here, but I'll mostly be sitting somewhere here-ish. So that's bright enough. Right, you can see my face. My hair is disheveled today, but it's Monday, so I'm going to blame it on that. Caleb says, don't worry why I'm up, Finn. Well, I assume you're up to see the best show that's on Twitch, which is Crack of Noon, which is what you're watching right now. Can you believe it? Yes, this is the supposed to be every weekday, but is now, well, we'll talk about that later. It's the morning-ish show where we talk about bullshit. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. We're going to talk about the World Cup. We're going to talk about Extreme Rules pay-per-view, the WWE pay-per-view that happened last night. We're going to talk about some changes to the show. We're going to talk about a new show that's coming up. It's an exciting day. So, yeah, I hope you're all having a good and productive Monday, and I hope you're being good to one another. So yeah, how is everyone doing? Zerky and Caleb are in the chat right now. That's all I know so far. There could be more. If you are, I appreciate it's Monday. I appreciate you for hanging out in chat, even though you're not chatting. I appreciate all lurkers and anyone who stops by my stream. But if you do feel so inclined, it's totally okay to chat. I'll respond to you and talk to you. And yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. It's very early and I've only had 2 cups of tea, which is why the words are. Zergy is doing shit with Osu. What else is new? And yeah, you're doing good. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. I'm glad you're having a good Monday. I myself am like still a little bit recovering from the sickness last week, but I'm mostly over it. I'm quite healthy now. Just a little bit of like temperature deficiencies, you know. I'm like hot or cold sometimes, but like other than that, the head is now fine, the throat's now fine, the stomach is, thank God, it's fine. So yeah, that was the reason that the show did not go out on Wednesday, Thursday or Friday last week. It did happen on Tuesday, but for YouTube viewers, I am sorry, apparently it got blocked, which was not to my knowledge. It was because I showed a trailer for WWE 2K19, which is one of the news stories. I thought that would get me copyright strikes, but not blocked. Like, very, very odd. I'll try and get that resolved if I can. It shouldn't take too long. I'll just like block out that part of the video. But yeah, I'll try my best from now on, because Monday's video got blocked as well until I edited it because of an anime OP I showed. But yeah, I'm going to try very hard from now on to avoid that situation entirely and not get stuff blocked. My hair is just bleh. Okay. So yeah, the sickness was pretty shitty last week. If you guys watched the Tuesday episode, you would know that I had like a scratchy throat, and it was very clear in the way I was talking. But I thought it was like a day sickness that would pass. But yeah, it didn't. So that's what happened. I basically lay in bed for about 2 or 3 days. Which kind of sucked, because I wanted the first week of Crack of Noon to be smooth running, just so I could get out those 5 shows and get a lot of feedback on them and see what worked and stuff. I did get a lot of info from the first 2 shows I did, but yeah, it kind of sucked that the sickness happened. What anime OP was it, Zerky asks. It was, we were going through a preview of some summer anime that I might watch, and I believe it was Hanabado was the name of it. It was the sports anime about badminton. But yeah, the first thing when I googled it was an OP and not a trailer. I don't know if I showed the trailer, would it not copyright strike it? But yeah, it was on Crunchyroll's YouTube channel, so I thought it'd be okay. Apparently not. It got blocked, and I had to like black out that part of the video. So that sucks, but I'm gonna try not to do that from now on. So I'm okay with the videos being copyright struck. Copyright struck. I don't know. Yeah, I'm okay with that because I don't monetize the videos anyway. But if they get blocked, then that sucks because people can't watch them. Tuesday's video was blocked for a different reason. That was the WWE trailer, which I'm not sure that you were here for, Zergy. I don't know. Maybe you were. It's been a long week. I don't remember much from... I don't remember this morning, let alone last week. But speaking of last week, some stuff that I do remember is doing the first 2 shows. And yeah, the feedback for it so far, from what little I've done, has been super positive mostly. Which I'm pretty happy about. I'm going to make some adjustments to the show, which I'm going to go over in a little second. But yeah, for the most part, I'm enjoying doing this. I think I'm comfortable in it now. And your guys' feedback has been awesome. So one major change that's coming to the show now is instead of every weekday it happening, which was my original plan. I originally planned it in the announcement. I said it would be every weekday, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I've now realised, after doing even 2 shows consecutively, that might not work. It's hard, especially when it's a very topical show centering around news and what's going on in my life and your lives. It's hard to do that show every weekday without a gap because you don't build enough stuff up to talk about. So I'm making the change now. I've announced it on Discord and Twitter already, if you haven't seen it, that Crack of Noon, instead of premiering every weekday, it'll now be every Monday and Friday. So at the start of the week and at the start of the weekend. And that will give me a 3 to 4 day gap to figure out news stories, find new things to talk about. I feel like it will balance the content a lot more. It will space it out, and yeah, I don't think anyone necessarily wants to watch an hour-long video a day anyway. So yeah, I think this is the way going forward that we're going to handle things, and I hope that'll work out. So if you're expecting Crack of Noon tomorrow, I'm sorry it won't be here. It will be on Friday. So yeah, like I said, Monday and Fridays are going to be the days for Crack of Noon. But besides that, I do want to still stream every day. So I'm going to be replacing the Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday slots with something new. That being the Arcade, which is a new show centered around gameplay, which I am focusing on. I'm just going to get up the announcement here. It's a pretty small little thing. I have a hotkey now to switch between the scenes, so hopefully this should work. Yeah! Okay, the Arcade. So, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday is going to be not Crack of Noon. It's going to be something entirely different. It's going to be this new thing, the Arcade. First things first, it's not going to premiere at the same time as Crack of Noon, which a lot of the American people who watch me in different time zones and stuff were a bit disappointed that they couldn't watch the show live because it was on at 12 p.m, which is really early hours of the morning for them. So I'm trying to appeal to that. The Arcade will instead premiere at 7 p.m. my time, which hopefully should work out for most time zones. At least the American ones and the European ones should be able to all watch my stream at a reasonable time. So yeah, that's going to be 7 p.m. BST, so roughly, I know, time zones around 2 p.m. in the US, and I think the earliest is 8 hours behind, so that'd be 11 a.m., which isn't too bad. I'm trying to fit in everyone, so any Americans not awake at 6 a.m. are bitches. That's just because you're asleep at like 5 p.m. though, Caleb. God damn it. Hello, Artie, how are you doing this fine afternoon is what time zone you're in. See, I'll start to remember these time zones as I remember where all you guys are from in chat. Caleb, United States of America. Artie, Eastern Europe, vague Eastern Europe area. Probably Russia or one of them. Is the Iron Curtain still around? Is that still a thing? I don't know. He's over there with the Soviets, and then Zergy is like, I can't remember whether you're Central or Eastern. You're 2 hours ahead, so you're Eastern Europe. You're Far East, probably Russia, right? Yeah. Artillo says mine are still cast in iron. Zergy is Eastern Europe, indeed. But yeah, back to the arcade. So, premiering 7 p.m. BST, and it's a gameplay focused show. So I'm actually going to be going back to playing games. I was really hesitant to do this because Twitch in itself is a gameplay streaming website, and so gameplay streams with just standard person with a webcam talking over a game is a bit too what's the word I'm looking for? Saturated. Is that the word? I think that's the word I'm looking for. But yeah, I was really hesitant to do that because of that. But my voice is still a bit rapsy. Sorry about that. It's the morning. Well, it's not the morning. It's morning for me. I'm up early. Yeah, tell the US people that if is across the Atlantic, it's Russia. Fair. Yeah, I was really hesitant to do the gameplay and webcam streams because I don't have anything against people who do that, but I want my stream to be different. I want it to stand out. I want to do something different. So I want to focus this show on entirely chat interaction in any way I see possible. Now, at the beginning, since I have a relatively small audience right now on Twitch, I say relatively, it's one of the smallest, if not the smallest. I don't think anyone actually watches me. I think these are all just bots. But yeah, while it is in a state of very few people being in chat, I'm going to find it difficult to interact with chat a great deal. So for the start, you're basically going to be seeing the thing that I don't want to do, which is the vanilla gameplay stream. I'm going to be trying to, when people do show up in chat, I'm going to be trying to get them in on the game as much as possible. So yeah, just one of the small ways I'm doing that is I'm adding song request to this. By the way, this show isn't going up on YouTube, so song request can now be a thing for that. This is exclusive to Twitch. So I'm doing song request. I'm doing it via Spotify, so I avoid trolls on YouTube. So there's that. I'm going to be taking like requests in chat on weird ways to play the games, like play it blindfolded and you guys just guide me through the level. Shit like that. I'm going to be trying to get you in on basically playing the game as well. As part of that, I'm not going to be playing any heavily story-focused games on this show. So stuff like, I still need to play God of War. I'm not going to be playing that on this show, just because in story-focused games, I tend to find that I like to get immersed in them, which is the point of story-based games. But if I do that, it's going to be hard to interact with chat a lot. And I also want to play the stories my way, and if I want to have a show based around chat interaction and you guys being involved in the game, I don't want to fuck up the story for myself. So that's why you're not going to see traditional story-based games like Horizon, Zelda, even stuff like Mario, which is a pretty light story, but it's still a story and I want to play it through my way. So the games that are on this are essentially going to be entirely gameplay focused, so that I can involve you guys and talk with you guys and not be distracted by the story elements going on. So to start with that, the first game that I'll be playing on the show, it'll be at least for the whole of this week, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, will be Next Machina. It's a game that, hold on a second, I'll be right back. Bloop. My mic is unmuted. Hooray. Yeah, sorry about that. But what was I saying? Yes, Next Machina is the game that I'm going to be playing. I've been trying to find an excuse to play that game. I've been so like invested in story-based games I've been playing recently. One of them at the minute I'm just finishing up is Unravel 2. I'm loving that so far, but that's besides the point. I wanted to find an opportunity to play these types of games, and I think this slot during Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday is going to be a good way to do that. So if you've never seen Next Machina before, I might get like some gameplay out of it just to show you guys what I'm talking about. But there's almost no story. It's just an arcade game where you're going around. It's a twin-stick shooter by Housemarque, the people who made Resogun, if you've ever played that. Dead Nation, if you've ever played that. This is a review, but it has gameplay, so I'll just... Okay, boo. Nope, wrong thing. That's the thing I was looking for. So yeah. What was I talking about? So yeah, I'm going to be able to play this game. I'm going to be semi-focused at the difficult points, but those are quickly done, few and far between. I'll basically just be able to talk back and forth with chat, see what you guys are saying, talk with you guys while I complete what is an absolute mountain of tasks to do in this game. So I want to 100% this game by completing what's known as all the feats. They're essentially all the achievements, and there's like hundreds of them, and they're like little minute tasks like kill 100 enemies, save all these humans that you're picking up, get all these collectibles. And so yeah, I want to be able to do that and simultaneously talk with you guys. So hopefully you guys enjoy the arcade. I'm going to be, again, since this is the first week of this new venture, I guess, show, I'll be testing out the format, seeing what works and what doesn't. I'll appreciate your guys' feedback as always. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it, and hopefully that will fill the slot, the gap that is left by crack of noon moving to Mondays and Fridays. So just to recap the schedule from now on, it's going to be Monday crack of noon at 12 p.m. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 7 p.m. BST is arcade. We'll be playing this for the first week. And then Friday again is 12 p.m. BST. Is going to be crack of noon weekend edition, I guess you could call it. But yeah, that is that at least. What else do I have to cover? I believe I covered everything. I did think about talking about the World Cup final here in this part of the show, but I do have a segment later on which will be probably better to talk about it then. So yeah, I think for now we should probably move on to the news. The news. Don't mind the bit being on the computer screen, that's just me changing the bit. Yes, let's get into the news. So, first story today is a follow-up from last week. Let me just show you guys the article here. Crash Bandicoot holds up Lego Incredibles and Octopath Traveler to stay #1. I'm surprised. Even I'm surprised it's the biggest Crash fan in the world that this is somehow still #1 on the charts. So I'm just going to read through the article here and I'll talk about my reactions to it. So, my voice is so like raspy today. There. Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy is the UK box #1 for a third consecutive week. So box #1, does that mean physical release? Damn, this doesn't even take into account digital. Although that might explain stuff later in the article. For a third consecutive week despite some strong competition. Crash returned to #1 3 weeks ago on the back of Xbox One and Nintendo Switch launch of the game. The Xbox One is performing marginally better than the Switch edition, although that is something very specific to the UK market, with the Switch edition performing strongest across EMEA. It just about holds off competition from the new Lego game, Lego The Incredibles. It's not the best performing Lego game launch. Indeed, recent Lego titles haven't performed too strongly in the market. Although they're still big sellers, The Incredibles is quite a specific license, so it's unlikely to match the bigger brands such as Lego Star Wars. Its launch is below last year's Lego Marvel Super Heroes 2, but ahead of Lego Ninjago the movie. 46% of sales came on PS4, 30% on Xbox One, and 23% on Nintendo Switch. And that game just narrowly beat Octopath Traveler, Square Enix's unusually titled RPG for Nintendo Switch. It's actually a really good result for the game, as its sales are almost double that of Bravely Default, which is made by the same team back in December 2012, and more than double that game's sequel, Bravely Second, released in 2016. This article goes on. You can see the entire list of the top 10 here. Little interesting to see that God of War is still up there. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker is back from last week. And yeah, I'm honestly shocked that, like, I know Crash Bandicoot does well. It's clear that it does. This is the third week in a row that it's re-entered the number one spot on the charts. It's pretty incredible. I expected it when it first launched, that week it first launched for the Xbox One and Switch, for their maybe to be number one, especially since it wasn't going up against a lot of tough competition. But now, I'm really surprised at Octopath Traveler, because, to be honest, I thought that game would do a lot better. Now, I know it does, it's a big jump. Like I said in the article, it's over double the sales of Bravely Default on its sequel. But I honestly thought the hype surrounding this game, the good reviews, everything that happened, I thought it would be number one, to be honest. Especially since Crash Bandicoot has been out for these systems for 3 weeks now. I thought it would die down at least a little bit. And just keeping on Octopath Traveler, I can't believe it got beaten out by Lego The Incredibles. I know the Lego series does well, but better than a new release of a really hyped game that got good reviews. Like Octopath is in the 8 and the 9s. I'm really enjoying it as well. I'm playing the I think part of it as well might be that the prologue demo is still out for a lot of people, and they can play a lot of the game that way. So until they reach the point where they can no longer progress in that demo, maybe people are holding off on buying it. So that could maybe be part of it. I don't know. It said box number one at the third consecutive week, so this could be just in terms of physical releases. In that case, I can see why Octopath Traveler might be trailing a little bit, because I imagine most people would get this digitally. But I from my knowledge of these titles, I don't think that, I think it includes digital sales as well, but I might be wrong about that. Let me know if you guys figure that out for me. Yeah, but it's always good to see Crash at number one, because that means likely more Crash stuff in the future. Because if these sell really well, they'll be likely to do more. And shout outs to Vicarious Visions for making an awesome ass remaster that kept to the originals. We've gone over this many times before. But yeah, really surprised at Octopath Traveler. I hope it starts to climb the charts in the coming weeks as people figure it out. Figure out why it's good. It's getting all these good reviews. We're in that post E3 like decline of game releases. Like, we're right after E3, so there's not much coming out, so it won't have a great deal of competition. Releases are quite light, as we'll get to in the releases segment of today's show. But yeah, hopefully Octopath Traveler can come through the number 3 spot and climb once Crash Bandicoot starts to decline in sales a little bit. But yeah, that's kind of awesome to hear. I'm glad it's doing well. It deserves to do well. It's a really fun game. If you haven't played it, even I'm not a big JRPG fan, and I love it because of the retro style mixed with the new elements it has, like dynamic lighting and some voice acting at parts. The combat system's really good. I don't know if I'll play it on stream, but I'll maybe do a YouTube video about me talking about it. It's a very long game, so I'm going to be playing it on and off. I don't think I'll go too hard on Octopath Traveler. It's going to be, a game I play in the background when I have nothing else to do, which is going to be hard considering my backlog of games at the minute is fucking massive. But yeah, I'm enjoying it, and hopefully it does really well, because I'd like to see more games like this. I'd like to see Octopath Traveler sequel. I don't know what that'd be called. Hexadecapath Traveler. That's 12, I think. Hexadeca? No, that's 16. That's double 8. Hexadeca. So what's Dodeca is 12? They could just do Decapath Traveler. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Ice. Nope. I nearly did it, and you're timed out now. In fact, banned, because no. I nearly said a a bad name on stream. But yeah, I've been called out before, but with much worse than that. So don't think I'm privy to your tricks. What else are we covering? We're gonna get to this story later. I accidentally clicked into that. This is the next story we're gonna be covering, which is very cool. Overwatch League comes to ESPN, Disney, and ABC. So I'm going to talk a little bit about why I think the Overwatch League is important to the esports going forward. You don't need to hear it from me; you can see it. Other people are talking it up real big. The Overwatch League doesn't need my validation, but I do want to talk a little bit about why moves like this are important for the esports industry, I think. So, moving into the article. Overwatch League is coming to ESPN, Disney, and ABC family of networks. I'm going to zoom in here just so you guys can read the text. Oh my god, this website sucks and I hate it. Yes, Overwatch League is coming to ESPN, Disney, and the ABC family of networks. ESPN, Disney, and Blizzard Entertainment announced on Wednesday. The multi-year broadcast deal includes the Overwatch League playoffs, which begin Wednesday night, the Season 1 Grand Finals from the Barclays Center in New York this month, and the Overwatch League Season 2 next year. In all, professional Overwatch will be broadcast in some fashion on the flagship ESPN network, ESPN2, Disney XD, ABC, and streaming services for the term of the agreement. It amounts to hundreds of hours of live and highlight programming across 4 networks, bringing Overwatch League competition for the first time to both linear and digital ESPN and Disney viewers. The agreement does not cancel existing distribution agreements already in place, like Twitch broadcasts. So this is very important, in case you thought that the Overwatch League was moving exclusively to TV and old media. That's Blizzard aren't that dumb. They know the Twitch deal's in place for a long, long time. I think it's 3 to 5 years that they'll be broadcasting on Twitch still. So yeah, they know where their audience, their core audience mainly resides, and they're not going to take it off Twitch just because a bunch of money is flashed at them. So I'm glad that there are these different avenues that people can watch the stream via. We are turning the corner here in terms of our interest and engagement in the esports category, ESPN Vice President of Digital Media and Programming, John Lasker said. We've had an interest and have been watching pretty closely how the first year of the Overwatch League has been progressing, and we're really excited to be a part of this. Clearly, by the way, we're going to be covering it, starting with the playoffs, and the finals this year certainly speaks volumes to our excitement and our enthusiasm overall for esports moving forward. That's really big because ESPN, they're not just talking shit, they do cover a lot of esports, from Dota to League. I don't know the entire range of esports stuff that they cover on the channel, but they do it a lot more than other sports channels. So fair play to them. I'm glad they're getting involved and they realize that this is a sport. Maybe not a traditional sport, maybe not an athletic sport, but it is a sport and it's worthy of showing to sports fans because they could get invested in it. While the deal focused on live and full replays of Overwatch competition, the recap show on ABC, there's a broad swath of digital rights that the networks plan to take full advantage of, according to Lasker. That might include highlight packages for ESPN digital platforms or even supplemental content catered towards fans who might not be as familiar with Overwatch. This is very important. If you're gonna repackage this, if you're gonna bring this new and innovative sport that a lot of traditional sport fans might not get, it's important to repackage it in a way that's consumable to them, that they can watch in a short amount of time, and that they can get the gist of very quickly. So making those highlight packages, talking through games in a way that's understandable to the common dad watching ESPN, I guess. Is that still the typical guy that watches ESPN, the dad with the Pabst Blue Ribbon? Now, obviously, a lot of people who are young will maybe not watch it on Twitch and they'll watch it on ESPN or Disney as well, which is good as well. But in terms of bringing this to people who don't get esports, repackaging it in highlight packages and talk shows going through games is very important to the average consumer, which is what ESPN should be doing, and I'm glad they're doing. The agreement matches the strategy both the networks and Blizzard have to bring to Overwatch competition to a wider audience. While they recognise some potential crossover. I turned into Sean Connery there for a brief second. While they recognise some potential crossover, each distribution point represents a different demographic that might be interested in watching the highlight levels of Overwatch gameplay. It's a cross section that a hardcore sports fan, especially on ESPN channels, Pete Vlast. People have really hard names to pronounce, especially in the news. Vlasteliga? It's a nice name. President and CEO of Activision Blizzard Esports Leagues said, "They love watching competition. They love watching the best in the world compete at a great game. Maybe they have played video games. Maybe they know of Overwatch. Maybe they even play Overwatch or play it a lot. But they're fundamentally looking to be entertained by the highest possible level of competition around a great game, and that's what we've got." So yeah, the article goes on. You can read more if you want. Here's a schedule of the stuff going on and on what channels you can watch it. I think this is really good. I think this is the steps that were obviously going to be taken, but still were necessary to be taken in terms of esports moving forward as a recognized sport. First of all, if you're unhappy by this news because you think it, I can already hear like a lot of people in my head going, it might still be on Twitch, but these people, ESPN, they don't care about esports, they don't deserve it. Listen, if you think that, you don't deserve to play Overwatch or play video games for that matter. If you don't want everyone to be able to enjoy esports and video games in a way that's consumable to them, you can fuck right off. In terms of the people who are excited about this news, which I assume is most of you, it's very important. And I feel like Overwatch League is the best foot forward for ESPN and Disney and ABC, all these networks. Because when you look at Overwatch League, the production value they put into that, the video walls, the graphics, the highlight packages for players, it's clearly a big step ahead. Big step ahead from other esports. It might not be so. Other esports might have bigger prize pools or more of a dedicated community, but you can see just in the budget Overwatch put into their stuff that they're a leg above anyone else, and it pays off as well, because when you're bringing this to ESPN and stuff like that, the casual sports or the hardcore sports fan that won't get esports, they'll instantly recognize it and go, oh, this is something I recognize. This looks like the NFL. This looks like other sports that I enjoy. This is legitimate. This isn't some guys at a like shitty desk with a crappy green screen watching Counter-Strike, which is a game that's really, really old. And to be honest, I don't want to diss Counter-Strike. It's an amazing game. I know I suck, but it does look kind of gritty, and especially since it's that old now, it's hard to like pitch that to people who might not be invested in the game or video games as a whole. When you look at Overwatch, it's bright, it's colourful, it's new, it's got great designs, it's very distinctive in its map and character designs, and it's very easy to see, oh, this is really easy for me to get into. I can understand the rules pretty well. I can see everything that's going on the screen and understand what's going on. I know who's on which team because of the skins that point it out to me in bright colours. Like, stuff like that, it's very, very small, but it goes a long way into people adopting this as a legitimate sport. So, yeah. Bringing it to Disney XD, it'll get the young people involved. Young people love video games anyway. They see young people are watching Twitch streams more and more, so it's always Disney want to get off the back of that into the video game market and try and get young people to stay on their channel. ESPN is the biggest one for me here, because it opens it up to traditional sports fans that they might further understand esports. If you've seen videos on YouTube, my favorite one is like a compilation of the media learning what esports is. It's very funny to watch because it's not even offensive to watch. Like, they take the piss out of esports, but it's just so funny that they're so behind the times and just lack all this knowledge of what the sport is. Like, they're arguing over it, like, just hearing them talk about it, like, they're just playing a video game, like, that's not a real activity. Fuck you, you fucking see the shit that these people are doing. You see the millions of calculations. Millions, that's maybe a bit extensive, but like, I guess the brain works that way. It's like tiny micro calculations going on in the head, and it's very, very fast paced. And despite the fact that they're not like really moving about, and it's not an athletic sport, who cares? Like, that doesn't need to be a thing for a sport to be played. It needs to be competitive for it to be recognized as a sport. You look at things like darts, not really that competitive. A bunch of like, forgive me because I don't blame these guys, but pretty much overweight people who have like beer bellies are playing a sport, and they barely move at all. They walk and get the darts and then they throw them. In chess, even, people are sitting down and they move a little pawn, and that's a sport. It's recognized at the Olympics. Why do video games, I should say, get this sort of flack? And I feel like not coordinating stuff like this, especially the Overwatch League, because it's so digestible by the average consumer, not restricting this to Twitch and to young people's, for lack of a better term, young people's platform, is the best way to get esports accepted. Especially if ESPN, again, like I was saying earlier, start to bring in highlight packages, explain what's going on in the game, have talk shows like they have for NFL, like pre-game shows where they explain what the history is between the teams, the stories that these players have gone through, why the games are important. It's gonna eventually bring in more and more people, and I think quicker than a lot of people realize. Like, initially, I know I'm stereotyping in my head, right? But like, some dad's home from work one day, he turns on ESPN, he expects to see some American football thing going on, but instead he sees this new Overwatch League video game. And yes, at the start he might go, this is stupid, this is dumb, I don't want video games, they're not a sport. But eventually he's going to see more and more of it, and it's going to seep into his brain, and he's going to realize that this is actually an exciting thing. His son or daughter might turn on ESPN one day and watch the video game along with him, and they're going to understand what's exciting about this and why this is huge, because it is. It sells out arenas, millions of viewers, and yeah, I basically said all I need to say about it. But moves like these, they're not really necessary. They don't validate video games or esports in my head. That's already done. I don't need ESPN or Disney to tell me that video games are cool. What this title essentially reads to me is that video games continue to be successful and cool. And while I didn't need that update, it's nice to know. So congrats on the Overwatch League. I hope they continue to grow and change esports for the better. What else do we have in the news stories today? This is a sad one. Code Vein has been delayed to 2019. It seems we can't get excited about anything these days. I was very excited for Code Vein. It looks like a neat game. In case you haven't seen the some gameplay of it, I am 75 years old.
Predator takes
oh, god damn it. Right, forget that advertisement. Code Vein is a very good looking Japanese developed game. I believe it's an RPG, an action RPG, and it looks very good, and it's just a little bit sad that it was delayed to 2019. I don't necessarily know why. I assume we'll read in the article, but yeah, let's just read anyway. Bandai Namco's vampire-based action RPG has been delayed until 2019. A press release from Bandai Namco stories states the release date for Code Vein has been pushed back to sometime next year, even though the original September 2018 release date was only announced last month. Herve, can't pronounce that name. I'm just going to call him Herve. Herve, Vice President of Marketing and Digital at Bandai Namco Entertainment Europe, says the delay is due to the desire to improve the game and exceed fan expectations after feedback from hands-on demos. Armed with knowledge of how well the game has already been received, we made the decision to postpone the release of Code Vein to further refine its gameplay in an effort to exceed the expectations fans already have of the title. It was a difficult decision to make, but we feel it's the correct one. So yeah, there's not much more to it than that. It's essentially a delay for reasons we might not know the reason to. It could be a number of things. It could be, like you said, they just want to improve the game based on feedback from playtests. They could be wanting to avoid, I don't know how much Japan cares about this, and I don't know how much overlap there is in the audience, but they might want to avoid the big fall releases like Call of Duty, Battlefield, Red Dead is the biggest one from there. It'd be interesting if they also released their game on February 22nd, because that seems to be D-Day for a lot of titles like Crackdown and Metro Exodus. So it'd be interesting if they made that move. You would have to think if they're releasing it in September, which is fall, if they're doing 2019, it's going to be pretty early. So it could be in that February, January vein, to not use a pun, of like releases. It's getting a revamp. I hate how IGN try to add a pun into everything, but I also love it. But yeah. You'd have to think it would be January, February. So it'll be interesting to see what the new release date is for that game. Hopefully it's not facing development troubles, because I do like the look of that game. It's very, very neat. Caleb in chat says, oh, for fuck's sake, Code Vein was the one weeb game I was excited for. Same. I don't play many JRPGs, but this is an action RPG, I guess. But even still, it looked cool. The character designs looked neat. The world looked cool. It looked Dark Soulsy in its combat, which I'm not a Dark Souls fan necessarily, but I do like those style of games. I should probably play Dark Souls since it got a remaster. We'll see about that. I say I should play all these games, but my backlog continues to grow. Yes. What else is in the news? This is our third or fourth news story. I've lost track at this point. It's also a short one, but an important one, I think, for fans of The Last of Us. The Last of Us 2's Ellie will have an NPC companion, which is interesting. We'll read on. The Last of Us Part 2 is about honouring Ellie, and Naughty Dog has made a point of implying she may be the only playable character. I'm going to zoom in on the text here. Nope, never mind. IGN's website is responsive. Rip. And Naughty Dog has made a point of implying that she may be the only playable character. But in a new interview, Naughty Dog Vice President Neil Druckmann. It's weird to say that because he just got bumped to Vice President. He was usually creative director of The Last of Us, but good for him being promoted. So yeah, Naughty Dog Vice President Neil Druckmann lets slip that she'll have someone else along for the ride. Here's the quote. Well, so Ellie used to be an NPC, but she's the protagonist in this story. So the player is controlling Ellie. It's safe to say with the game that we made in the past that there will be some NPC with you in the story, even though we're not showing the NPC in this demo. Obvious inclination is to jump to the conclusion of Joel, which I am hesitant and speculative of, because of how little we've seen Joel from everything to do with The Last of Us that we've seen. We saw him in the initial release trailer. We didn't see him in any other trailer, including the gameplay demo at E3 this year. So I'm hesitant to believe it's Joel. I'm unsure of what Joel's position in the story is. I can't really spoil anything because I haven't played the game. I don't know what the story is, but my initial inclination would be that Joel is dead by the start of the game or dies partway through the game. The only time that we see Joel in that Last of Us 2 trailer that we first saw, Ellie is the only one talking to him. So they could go to these lengths to talk about maybe if Joel's dead, maybe she's seeing a vision of Ellie, or Ellie's seeing a vision of Joel in her head. Could be a flashback of some sort. We don't know. Those are my initial ideas of what could happen. I'm hesitant because Naughty Dog are very, very good at writing stories, and they often try to avoid cliches in stories wherever possible. So I assume whatever they do with Joel, it will probably blow my mind. In terms of what NPC then is actually following Ellie, the only other real characters we've seen so far are the girlfriend from the Last of Us 2 demo at E3 2018. Sorry, I'm losing track of my thoughts. Or the other Last of Us trailer where Ellie or Joel weren't involved at all, which we saw some woman save some guy in quite a brutal scene of torture and execution. We still don't know what that woman's role is. I assume it's Ellie's mom. And since this is Ellie's story, I believe her mom would be quite an important aspect to that. So that's where my initial thoughts are going. That woman in the second trailer of The Last of Us, the brutal one, is going to be Ellie's mom, and partway through the story they meet and she becomes your NPC companion. But yeah, like I said, Naughty Dog often subvert expectations wherever possible, so I am interested to see what they do with that. What else do we have? This is a semi-political one, but it's to do with video games. If the article will load, there we go. Can we zoom in on this one? Yes, we can. Thank you, Eurogamer. My brain just stopped working. Vague release dates for pre-orders banned in Germany. So I'm just going to read this. Germany has banned vague release dates for pre-orders. It means shops can't offer pre-orders with phrases such as coming soon or available soon anymore. Instead, they must indicate the latest date by which the product will be delivered or not offer a pre-order until it does. A consumer protection group raised the issue with German courts, which issued a ruling according to Heiss, German word, I can't pronounce it, and verified by our friends at Eurogamer.de. So yeah, there's not much more to this article other than that. I believe this is a good move by Germany. It comes, the Consumer Protection Group is the one doing it. And this initially stemmed from, I believe, Samsung phones, who were notorious for making pre-orders available before any indication of a release date was there. And this seems to be carrying over into the game markets. So, like I said, what this means is either you offer the latest possible release date that the game is going to be delivered by and make pre-orders a thing, or you stick with the coming soon tagline and don't pre-order. That's an amazing system. It should be everywhere. I don't think it will happen, but I would love for other governments to follow in Germany's lead here, because the pre-orders have been fucked for a long time in terms of screwing consumers over, with games being delayed. So until you can guarantee a date which this product will be delivered by, it doesn't have to be the release date, because it's hard to know what a release date for a game will be, because it often does get delayed. But if you put any date out there, just the latest possible date that you can envision in your head, even if it's way longer than anyone expects, you should be doing that if you're going to be offering pre-orders. And while that may suck because then it adds more restrictions to game devs, just don't offer pre-orders. Like, if you don't know when the game's coming out, just don't do it. So yeah, there's not much more to that. In the UK, online shops can offer pre-orders without a release window. Again, I believe people should follow in the steps of Germany. This is good for consumers. And finally, our final story? Yes, it is our final story. We talked about the Culling 2 on last week's Tuesday episode, I think it was. I was complaining a lot about how it's a really, really terrible PUBG clone. The Culling 1, while there was a lot of problems with it, it was separate from PUBG and Fortnite in a very distinctive way, and it was distinct enough that I thought that it could be like a good competitor to the two. So that's what I expected from the Culling 2 when it came out. Then I looked at the trailer on the stream and I was shocked and appalled to find out that it is a terrible PUBG clone. And yeah, I'm disappointed in the developer, and it looks like everyone else is too. So let's read the story. The Culling 2's Battle Royale flop forces difficult decisions about the future of the developer. Just 2 active users in the last 24 hours. This is a big one. So I'm just going to move over to this article quickly. Just showing the announced trailer again, in case you guys missed it. The Culling one was first person. That was completely different from PUBG and Fortnite. This is just a blatant clone. You can see in the skydiving and in the action. it's so disappointing to see developers try to clone successful games rather than make something unique and interesting. And in this case, it's backfired on them, and I'm glad it has. It sucks that people may be out of work, but that's just the way it goes. If you don't make something interesting and new, people aren't going to buy it. So yeah, it goes on to talk about how the 24-hour peak in the first week of release is 249 players. That alone is terrible. That's a terrible player base. You're never going to find a game, and even if you do, the matchmaking is going to be actually fucked. Playing an hour ago, 2 people were playing this game at one point. 2 concurrent players. Now, I'll continue to read the article and then I'll come back to that fact, but 2 players. 2 active players in that game. Xaviant, developer of Battle Royale title Culling 2, has tweeted that it will be having some admittedly difficult decisions about the future of our studio following a 48-hour launch period in which the game's active user base dwindled down to single digits. The Culling 2's release date on Tuesday, July 10th. The Culling 2 released, on Tuesday, July 10th, and was immediately besieged by serious fans upset that Xaviant had turned its attention to a sequel title a little over 9 months after its generally well-received predecessor left Steam Early Access. The game is currently ranked mostly negative on Steam reviews page, with users lambasting the sequel for its reportedly poor launch state and calling it a cash grab following its change of direction. The Culling 2 ditches the first game's intimate scope and unique mix of survival-style crafting and melee-focused combat in favour of more traditional guns and glory battle royale template akin to PUBG H1Z1 hybrid. Its poor reception was reflected by its active user base. Mere hours after the Culling 2 release, users playing the game peaked at 249 in the last 24 hours according to Steam charts. The Culling 2 had an average of just 2 players online. Some considerable way below the 50 required for a single match. You require 50 players for oh my god. By way of contrast, the original Culling had an all-time peak of 12,622 active users, with 16 playing in the last 24 hours. Okay. Although Steam's user reviews might offer some indication as to why fans haven't embraced the Culling 2 with open arms, its brawler failure can likely be, at least in part, attributed to Xaviant's exceptionally poor release timing. Its Battle Royale sequel launched at £16.99. I'm going to come back to that because, oh my god. Only 2 days before Season 5 of Epic's all-conquering and importantly free-to-play Fortnite. It goes on. But yeah. I'm going to bring up the Culling 2 on Steam here just so we can go over reviews and the like. One of the things I want to point out, if you're gonna release a clone of a game with an already saturated market beyond belief, and there's already tons of free games within that genre that are just plain better than this, don't make your game $16.99. Don't make it cost anything at all. Make it free. Add in microtransactions if you have to make money. But this is death. Who made this decision? Let's go into reviews. This is not the Culling. It contains no elements of the original Culling. It is more of a bad rip-off of PUBG and H1Z1. Do not buy. Do not give the dev team any money for the obvious cash grab. Very disappointing. I've played alphas that play better than this. I stubbed my toe on the way to install the game. That was the most enjoyable part of the experience. If you for some reason bought the game, remember that it is possible to get a refund. This is not a finished game. It's a poor attempt at a cash grab combining H1Z1 and PUBG. This is not the Culling. I played this for about an hour and I'm still convinced it's curtain for the real game and has been a bigger secret than Bigfoot. I have no idea what to type, but I won 2 games with no one in the server. Beat that. Don't buy this. It goes on. I don't know. He recommends it, but it's clearly a sarcastic review. Yeah. So disappointing. It's so disappointing. I'm not even as disappointed that they decided to go the route, which I fucking hate, of just cloning successful games and trying to get a cash grab that way. The arrogance of the $16.99 price tag is what gets me. Like, what did they think would happen? And going back to the 2 active players at one point, part of me attributes that to the new Steam privacy changes when it comes to like I don't know if you guys have seen it before, but like Steam have changed. It's a whole big thing with Steam Spy, but they basically changed their privacy policy so that by default, not all people can see what games you own and what you're playing. So this is the how you can edit the profile settings. By default, I believe game details is limited to friends only, and that includes list of all games on your Steam account, games you've wishlisted, your achievements, and your playtime. This setting also controls whether you're seen as in-game and the title that you're playing. So I'm not sure whether that affects Steam's active player charts. If it does, I can see why we're down to 2 players. If not, that's even worse. But even if the new privacy settings did affect the Steam charts and that's why there's only 2 players, that's still terrible. That's just awful. You need 50 people for a game, and at one point the average player base was 2. I don't think we need to continue on this story. I hope that Xavier managed to turn it around, despite the fact that they completely balls this up. I hope that they realise their mistake. I hope that they're able to recover. I imagine they'll have to fire a few staff because that's just the reality of business. And they tweeted out that they're going to need to make some tough decisions. So that's what that's alluding to, probably. And yeah, I hope that they don't. I hope this doesn't lead to the end of the studio and that they can go on and release better games from now and that they've learned their lesson. Just so disappointing. Anyway, The Culling 2, everyone. Buy it now on Steam for $16.99. Is that all our news stories for today? I believe that it is. Okay. That was the news. Now, Zerky has $0. Play Fortnite. Easy fix for you there, bud. Let's move. Now, moving away, going back to the changes in the schedule for Crack of Noon premiering every Monday and Friday now as opposed to every weekday. The Out Today section has now become Out This Week, so I'll go through every notable game that comes out this week, and I will try my best to avoid any bullshit Steam releases that don't matter, because while those were fun to look at and I might still look at them some occasions, it was a bit shit to go through all of these games that mean nothing. So these are going to be actual games that I talk about today. So out this week, out tomorrow, Tuesday's a big release for most video games as we covered before. So yeah, out this week, Adventure Time, Pirates of the god damn it, Enchiridion, Enchiridion. I don't care. That's out today for PS4 and it's out tomorrow for PS4 and Switch. Hand of Fate 1 and 2 out for Switch. Mugsters out for PS4 and Switch. Let's Sing 2018, that's for the PlayStation 4 and the Nintendo Switch. Black Sea Odyssey out for the PS4. I want to have a look at this game because this looks neat. It doesn't have the trailer on this website, so I'm going to have to go to YouTube, god damn it. Black Sea Odyssey. I think this is a game that might have been released before, or maybe not. Oh no, it seems like it's new. Reviews are just coming out for it. It has a neat pixel art style, which I'm a sucker for. Oh no, maybe not. So just to show you guys, this is the game. I thought it would be entirely different. This does not look good. Okay, never mind. Disregard Black Sea Odyssey then. My bad. It apparently won't be a good game. Well, it might be a good game, I just don't like the way that looks. It seemed pretty basic to me. Back to stuff coming out today. This is one I do want to look at, because there's no way this is a bad game. Chicken Assassin Reloaded. Coming out for PS4 and Nintendo Switch. Let me look this game up, because, oh my god. Is this a sequel to another game? Because it's Reloaded, so you'd assume it's a sequel. Let me see. Hopefully this doesn't get copyright stricken. Oh my god, it's metal as fuck. I love this trailer. The game itself looks pretty basic, so I might not buy it, but oh my god, the marketing behind this is great. Out tomorrow for PS4, everyone. Wow. Okay. So there's that. What else is coming out tomorrow? Frost, which looks indie-esque, is coming out for the PS4 and Switch tomorrow as well. Hop Along the Badlands out for PS4. Hungry Shark World out for PS4. Also for the PS4 and PSNV. What is that? That's PS Vita. Okay. Alright, Vita games are still getting stuff. Ice Cream Surfer. That's what's out for PS4 and Vita. Mother Gunship PS4. Also for the PS4 is The Path of Motus. Sonic Mania Plus out for the PS4 and Switch. I believe that is a $5 upgrade for those who owned the initial release. There's just a few pieces of additional content. I think there's different characters as well. So there's that. Space Jacked out for PS Vita, I think. Super Dungeon Tactics out for the PS4. We're nearly coming up to the end of it. Tempest 4000 out for the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Also for PS4 is a Japanese title that is gonna Toho Genzo Wanderer Reloaded. Well, Reloaded is a popular subtitle these days. The Moose Man out for Switch and PS4. Pool Panic out for Switch and PlayStation. Tanzia out for Switch. For the PS4 is Detached. Galactic Feud out for the PC. Gotcha Racing Second. Stupid fucking titles for games, man. Is PSP? Is that right? Did I read that right? Whatever. Guts and Glory out for PS4 and Switch. And out for Switch are the next 4 titles: Arcade Archives, City Connection, No Reload Heroes, a Neo Geo game called League Bowling, and Spheroids. That's everything out this week. We covered it all. I bet y'all are excited for the Moose Man. Moose Man. Only people who watch TNA will get that, and I don't think a lot of you do. So yeah. So yeah, Hand of Fate 1 and 2 coming out for Switch. That seems like a really good release to me. The Adventure Time game, I imagine people are excited for that. I think I saw a trailer for that. It's a 3DS game. It's like a pirate game, I guess. Looks neat. Chicken Assassin Reloaded might get hyped around it. I want to see Frost, because the artwork for that looks good. Hopefully it's that's Tom Clancy's Frost. I'm looking for the real one. Okay. Oh, it's a card game. So yeah, it's definitely an indie game by the looks of things. It's a card strategy game where it looks like you're up against nature. Sort of. like what's the game I'm looking for? Bannerlord Saga, but like with cards. So yeah, that's out on the eShop. So yeah, that's all the releases for this week. Again, like I said, the releases are light for this week, because it will likely be pretty light for a lot of weeks, just because it's post E3 and not a lot of games come out then, because they would have missed the E3 rush, and they're basically all the games that ever existed are coming out in the fall and in the spring. So yeah, there's that. Moving on to the next segment now is video of the day. Now this is going to be a little bit different video of the day. This is one I found on Reddit. Let's see, we're just going to have this in the background as we talk essentially. Oops, I accidentally skipped way ahead. But yeah, this is post World Cup. This guy is doing a victory bike ride in Paris. So yeah, I wanted to see this video. It's pretty long, so I'm just going to have it in the background as I talk about the World Cup, because that happened yesterday and I want to talk about it. So yeah, in case you haven't seen it, which if you care about football at all, why wouldn't you have seen it? France won. They beat Croatia 4-2, I believe was the final score. It was a very interesting match, very back and forth. Croatia put up more of a fight than I thought they would. I'm glad to see that. I'm always glad to see the underdog really giving it their all. Hopefully this isn't too loud for you guys. If it is, let me know, but I think it's roughly about the right volume for my speaking voice. French fans going mad here, absolutely loving life. That's cool to see. This must be like downtown, essentially, where all the bars are. Sounds fine to you? Okay, thank you Zerky for the letting me know. But yeah, I was quite fascinated by how great this World Cup was, especially considering that I think it's because of the fact that most of the bigger teams that we all expected to win were knocked out so early in the tournament. Germany, Argentina, Brazil, Spain, Portugal, all knocked out before the group stage. Well, I think Argentina and Uruguay made it to the group stages, but they were like knocked out in the first round. So it was amazing to watch. I think this is essentially a changing of the guard when it comes to football now, because France are a very young team, and Mbappe, an absolutely incredible player, is younger than me. Fuck's sake, he's 19 years old, and he just scored in the World Cup final. The first person to do that, by the way, since Pele. So that's absolutely incredible. What else was I talking about? Yes, the match itself was great. The final was great. Talking about the semi-final a little bit. As much as I ripped on England, and I have to because I'm an Irish person, and anyone who's playing England is my favourite team in the world for that 90 minutes. I did think they played really well. They should be proud of how far they got. The "it's coming home" aura was... It was what's the word I'm looking for? Contagious. Like it was hard not to get wrapped up in it. So shout outs to England fans for being awesome. Shout outs to the England team for playing really well, despite the fact that no one at the beginning of the tournament thought that they would. Good job to Gareth Southgate, who everyone was doubtful of. What else is good to praise the England team for? Yeah, they just did really well, so props to them. I think they played really fairly as well, which is a lot of teams in the World Cup were sort of resorting to dirty tactics. In England, for the most part, they didn't. So fair play to England, but I hate you still. As for the game itself, now this was interesting to me because I was hyped for the match, obviously, because I do enjoy football, especially the World Cup when it's on. And so on the day of the tournament, I believe an hour before kickoff, me and my brother were sitting next to each other in the kitchen, and he was putting on bets. I can't remember what bets he put on exactly, but he was telling me what bets he was putting on. And I wasn't gonna I don't usually put bets in sports. I just don't like it. I don't like gambling. But sometimes for big occasions, I tend to put bets on, like whether it's the Grand National Horse Race or the World Cup or big football games that I'm invested in. I'll put like a little bet on. So I decided I would put 2 bets on actually. I I decided if I'm going to put a bet on, I'm going to play it smart. So, about half an hour before the game, I looked up all the odds and I decided what I was going to do. So, the first bet I put on was that Mbappe was going to score at any time. I think he's arguably the best young player in the world right now. So I was very excited. I thought the way he's been playing this tournament, he wanted to score in the World Cup final. He wanted that to happen, and his team wanted that to happen as well, I think, to an extent. They kept passing it to him, trying to give him that moment. So yeah, props to him, but I was pretty sure that was going to happen. The odds on that were 5-2, so I put £10 on that. That did happen. So I got £35 back, including my £10, so £25 profit. That covered the cost of the other bet. That's how I do it. I made a likely bet to cover the cost of the less likely bet, which would end up resulting in me winning a lot of money if it happened. So the first bet I put on was a smart one, and Mbappe to score at any time, 5-2. The second bet I put on, which was a little more extreme, it was 150-1. What I had put on was that it's what's known as a handicap bet. So I put France on -2. So essentially what that means is it acts like France are already 2-0 down at the start of the game. So in order to win, they have to win by 3 goals or more. So I put that bet on. I thought that France were absolutely going to stump Croatia. I was scared at the start of the game to see that Croatia were putting up a fight and were controlling the game for the most of the first half. So it did end up being a stump, but we'll get to that in a bit. So yeah, as for the match itself, Croatia were looking dangerous from the start. A lot of shots on target. It was really these fronts. How big is Paris? These guys are still going. There's like everyone is at a bar and loving life. Has he gone under the Eiffel Tower yet? Because usually people are under there during big games because they have a screen. But yeah, Croatia were looking dangerous from the start. Then who was it? Well, France got a free kick, and Griezmann booted it in, and it was on target, but it didn't look like it was going in. It seemed like the keeper handled it until it got in the head of, I believe it was Mandzukic on the Croatia team, and it just about headed it in. Sucks for them, right? I feel really bad for them, but my team are 1-0 up. I need them to be. I'm quite happy. So yeah, sucks for Mandzukic. Then Croatia go back pretty much immediately. They come back with a goal from Perisic. I'm happy for Croatia because it makes for an interesting game, but now France need to score another 3 goals. It needs to be 4-1 for me to win. I don't think that's likely. I thought it would be 3-0 if anything, but especially the way Croatia are playing up to that point, I thought that maybe that bet was out the window. So yeah, it's 1-0 at this point. A handball occurs, a controversial handball occurs in the box from the Croatia team. I believe it was Perisic was the name of the guy. It has to go to VAR, and the ref kept looking and looking because he was so unsure. It was a bit of a controversial call, but ultimately I believe that the right decision was made and a penalty was given. Griezmann, cool as you like, knocks it into the bottom left corner. Job done. We're 2-1 up. Brilliant. It sucks for Croatia again. They got a bit hard done by, I think, but I think it was the right call. And Perisic, after scoring the goal and being the hero, to immediately go and handball it like that and cost them a goal, sucks. But I was happy. Mbappe hadn't scored yet, so none of my bets were on, but it could still happen. What was the third goal? Third goal was Pogba. Just a very Pogba-esque goal. It was in the second half. Just kept putting the defender that kept ricocheting back off. He struck again. One of the times it did end up going into the bottom left corner. Boom, 3-1. The hope is there, boys. The dream is real. It could happen. All I need is Mbappe to score once, and life's a dream. Roughly about 70 minutes into the game, I think it was. I forget how it happened exactly, but Mbappe just goes by 2 Croatian players with ease, strikes the ball perfectly into the net. I lose my shit because that's both of my bets. Bet 1 secured. No matter what happens in the game now, I've got my money back on the bets and I'm £10 up, right? And Mbappe scored at any time, he just scored now. Gone. Brilliant. The other bet was now in play for me because France were 3 goals up and that's exactly what I needed. That bet was worth £165 if I won. I put £15 on it, it would have got me 165 back. I was loving life at this point. I screamed at the top of my lungs. I probably wouldn't have been as invested in this game if it wasn't for the bet. But I scream woohoo at the top of my voice. I go downstairs. I like scream at my mum and dad that I'm just gonna win lots of money. And I calm down a little bit. Still shaking. I come back up to the bedroom to watch the rest of the match and make sure that nothing gets fucked up. And then just gonna interrupt this video for a little second just to show you what happens next. Different thing. Where was the tweet? Or the whatever? Oh, here it is. I forget how long we're into the game at this point, but we're 4-1 up. Both of my bets are good. Croatia aren't looking very dangerous. I think I might be able to win this, right? I'm gonna go through this very slowly, but don't know who this fucker is, but, well, I call him a fucker. He does the right thing here. He sees the Croatian player at the back of him. He decides, I'm going to pass back to Hugo Lloris, the goalie of France, to put it up and get it out of there, right? So he does that. Lloris takes it, cool as you like. Mandzukic, I think this is, does the standard thing. When you see the goalkeeper with the ball, you have to challenge him, just because in case that something might happen. But normally it never happens because you would have to be a really stupid goalkeeper to let something slip by you and cost a goal like that. Stay tuned, folks, this is going to get interesting. So he takes the ball here, takes it one touch. He decides here, and I don't know what type of French drugs he's on. I don't know how many croissants he's eaten today. I don't know how many snails are up his ass. That's what the French do, right? But he decides in his infinite wisdom, instead of just booting the ball right now and having no chance for this guy to make an interception, right, just booting it out, making it safe, make sure they don't concede a stupid goal, Hugo fucking Lloris decides, you know what, I'm going to go to his left. I'm going to try and skin this player. I'm going to showvo, I guess. It's the only explanation I have for what happens next here. And as cool as you like, Mandzukic touches it in. He's not even celebrating that goal because it's so stupid. Lloris, easily disappointed. The dream was killed by the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Let's go frame by frame here in the slow motion. He can hit the ball. He can hit the ball with his left foot if he wants. This guy's clear. He can just put it up the field. But this guy's on his left, and he decides, I'm gonna go to my left. Straight into the fucker. And I wouldn't be as mad if it didn't cost me fucking £165. Now, I'm over it. I'm not that invested. This video's nearly over as well. So, I'm not that invested in bets. It was money I didn't have anyway. I was a tenner up by the end of the game when all was said and done. So, it's not like I lost any money. And you should never take the mentality that because you could have won so much money that you lost that much money if you lose the bet. That's not the healthy way to look at it. It's just the fact that it was so stupid. He cost me, but again, I nearly just did it. He stopped me from potentially having an additional £165. The strategy worked. I had the fail-safe in place. I had the smart bet for Mbappe to score to cover the cost. So the strategy worked. But what could have been, man? Could have been. I could have bought more games. Could have been great. But whatever. I'm happy. I still beat the bookies. tenner up. It's all good. But god damn you, Loris. I will find you, sir. You owe me money. So yeah, that was the World Cup. I hope you guys all enjoyed the World Cup as well, if you're interested in football. Even those who are just casually interested in football tend to enjoy the World Cup anyway. It's a big spectacle. Yeah, it was fun. A lot of Americans were interested this time around as well, which was nice. They call it soccer, the Soccer World Cup. But yeah, it was a good World Cup overall. Yeah, that's all I have to say for that segment. Great World Cup, great final. Hugo Loris, you owe me money. Next segment is we're going pretty long today, but I don't mind it. The next segment we have is the fun thing of the day. Now today's fun thing is a little bit interesting. Let me just show you guys what I'm talking about here. So this is letsrobot.tv. I just found this today. So this is a site where we're on a cat camera at the minute, but this is essentially like a Twitch Plays live streaming site where... Sorry, I burped. This is essentially live streaming a feed from a camera attached to a robot that you can control with these buttons up here, and there's loads of these streams. I just thought I'd be in a cat camera for now, just to demonstrate. So these cats are sleeping. This is their little den. I can switch between which cat I want to look at. How do I get back to the other cat? Oh, I went too far. So yeah, the good part about this is it's essentially like Twitch Plays, in that it's like the whole crowd controls it. It's not just me that's controlling this. Like, depending on the input, it'll be majority rules. So yeah. I don't want to stay in the cat cam because it's a little boring, but there are ones that you can control moving robots, which I'm going to do now. I'm going to see which devices look most interesting. So this is a little moving one that I was playing with earlier today. I just want to see if I can like do cool shit with these robots. Wait, where's this guy now? So this was the one I was playing with earlier. This guy set up this little moving robot in this room with balloons. I think it's for his cat. See, I'm not even touching anything right now. And the whoa, my voice. Hopefully my voice heals by Friday's show, or the stream tomorrow, which I forgot I was doing, but yes, I'm doing. So this guy set up a little moving robot. I think it might be a Roomba. In his living room or cat room, whatever it is. My main goal for this is to try and escape the room and go on adventures. So we've blocked off this door with a paint bucket right now, so it's going to be very hard to achieve. But I think we can do it if we try hard enough. So yeah. Oh, we need to move to the right a little. Oh, too far. See, when everyone controls it at once, it can get a bit out of hand. Need to move to the right. Okay. Left, left. You can chat with people as well and make the robot talk, so...
Let us escape, brothers.
Okay. Oh, we're nearly through. Okay. Right, right. Easy does it, easy, easy. We're a bit jammed at the minute. We're right, just hugging a wall. I don't know how much interesting content this is. If you guys want to, robot.tv or letsrobot.tv, if you guys want to join in, I think we gotta back up a little bit. Yeah, okay, that's what we need it. Back up a little bit. To the right, come on. Twist it, twist it. Oh, too much. Wait, is it too much? Is that the door? Oh my god, that's the door. How do we get through this motherfucker? How wide are we? Oh!
Get me out of this hell.
If we keep jamming through, surely we're moving ever so slightly. Can we get through, or are we too wide? No, it just seems like we're sliding against the door. Alright. Let's fuck about in the room now.
I need some cock. Cool.
I wanna pop balloon. That's another thing I was trying to do earlier. I want to see what other robots we can find and play with. Because my main goal was to escape from this room, but it doesn't look like... Oh, cat! Hello, cat!
Cat. Behind me, cat.
I spelled it wrong. Cat, where are you going? Cat? Play with the ball? You wanna play with the ball? I'm gonna bump into you. Did you not like that?
Hello.
I wanna befriend this cat. What's he doing? Oh, he's up on the seat now. He wants to avoid us. Oh, he's behind the fucking thing.
Go try. Go cat.
What's over here? I haven't been over here before. In this little other segmented room. I wonder, can I escape now that the cat maybe cleared the way for me a little bit? We're clearly not thin enough to get through that little spot in the door. Oh, someone else control it. I'll let them do it. People on the internet are fucking stupid. Oh! Come on! I wonder, is it possible to go behind the TV?
Gonna get some libtards.
Jesus Christ. We're so close!
Help me escape, brothers.
It's not... I would need to know the, like, shape of this goddamn robot to get through.
Trump should suck Putin's cock. Agreed.
I mean, if he wants to, like... We're not moving! I want to go in this guy's kitchen! There must be a way behind the TV.
They should post it on Reddit. Yum.
Okay, if we get under the TV unit via this way, we could be able to push the paint bucket out of the way. I don't want to destroy this guy's wires, but, you know, we need to escape. Someone Despacito. No one else is even controlling it, it's just me.
This robot lost all of his rent.
Well, it seems that I pushed the bin back beyond the point where we can get through that now, so that's clearly not the way to go. What have you got there? Fucking Sony record player? Can we escape via the back door? Or is that the front door? This could be the front door.
Lil Snoop 420 plus Hannah in house.
What's the cat doing?
Cat, please help me escape. I will give you one fish.
I don't know if the cat can hear me or whether the text to speech is just... it's just me.
But our Lil Snoop sucks big cock and eats scum.
Okay. That guy's not helping with the escape plan. I'll play with the balloon a bit just to attract the cat downwards. Oh. Let me move it, you dingus. Oh, the fuck. Okay. Where are you going? Very nice.
Bend over.
God damn, that sucks. Let's try more of these. I want one that I can do crazy shit with. Okay, that's the cat cam. That's the claw. I've done that before and it's not fun. There's only a few that are online, sadly. What's this one? Oh, this is the one I was just on, right? Is this the same house? Right. Okay. So it's just this guy with his cats, it seems like. That is at least online for now. Everyone else is off. Which is a shame. Yeah. Okay, then I guess we're escaping. That's all we gotta do. Okay, we'll have one more. Surely this is open enough. Okay. Can I hold on? There's a camera somewhere. If I can see my shape in the other camera. Shut up a second, alright? With the Trump business.
It helps
The camera's like somewhere over here. So if I move over here, I think I'd be able to see myself and see what shape I am. That's the fucking sleep cam. That's not the right one. So, hold on. It seems like I'm roughly like that shape. So hold on. If I go to... Damn it, the fucking the sleeping is cute. I'll give it that. But come on now. Why is that the default? So it seems like I'm roughly this shape. So I'm pretty wide, which kind of sucks. It's going to be hard to get out. But I really want to. Huh. Okay. There's surely some way out of here.
Trump said fill me beauty.
Yeah, none of that. Come on. Come on. Alright, it seems like we're not getting out of here. I thought that we would be able to, but this guy clearly has impenetrable defenses. So, that was the fun thing for the day. It wasn't that fun. Like, you can play with the cat, but the cats don't seem to want to play. Let's have one more attempt at playing with the cat.
Cat BLS. I beg of you. Get me out of here. Putin shoved Bandicoot Trump sass so hard he couldn't walk the next day.
Well, there goes any help we might get from the cat.
DK cat. Farewell. One day our two species may be allies. But it is not this day.
Okay.
Trump said fuck.
Okay, that was today's fun thing, everyone. I need to find better fun things. is what I've learned today. Okay. So, moving on to the topic of the day. I need a jingle for the topic of the day, is what I've learned as well today. So yeah. Topic of the day. Remember, if you want to submit a topic of the day for me to discuss, you can do so. If you go to my Discord, there's a link to a Google form where you can ask your question. If you're in the Switch chat right now, you can write !topic, and that should be able to get you the link as well. If you're watching this on YouTube, it should be in the description of the video, and you can get the Google form there as well. Please do, because I like to have your questions submitted as part of the show, so that I'm not just talking about everything that I want to talk about. I want to involve you guys too. So yes, please use that link, request topics for me to talk about. If you can, add as much context to the question as possible. I like when it's there's a bit of a story to the question as well, a bit of context. So yes, do that please. I need more topics to talk about, otherwise I'll just be talking about wrestling all the time. Do you guys want that? I didn't think so. But for now, let's talk about wrestling. Yesterday evening, morning today was WWE Extreme Rules. I just brain. And I'm gonna essentially very quickly, because we've been on a lot longer than I thought we'd be on today. But we're essentially going to recap the show, what I thought of it. We're not going to be using any footage, we're just going to be using Twitter GIFs to essentially guide us through this, because copyright, and I don't want that to happen again, what happened to the last video. So yeah, once again, moving over to the tiny me in the top right corner. So yeah, pre-show matches very quickly. It started off with a match that wasn't on the card initially, but it was Andrade Cien Almas versus Sin Cara or Kalisto? I believe it was Sin Cara. Yes, it was Sin Cara. Andrade Cien Almas is great. They had a good match on SmackDown, which is why I think they bumped this to the pay-per-view pre-show, which is nice. We did miss an Andrade match. I didn't know what happened until afterwards, Caleb. But yeah, apparently it was very, very short. I believe Andrade picked up the win. There's a few gifts here of stuff we missed. Again, they're having good matches, so props to them. I hope we see more of Andrade on the main card now that we're on the lead up to SummerSlam. Then it was more pre-show stuff, bullshit, yeah, interview with Shinsuke. Then was the first like actual match from the card, which was Sanity versus the New Day in a tables match. Decent but quick match. I wanted this to be in the main card because these two teams are fantastic and we know what they can do. So it was a bit disappointing to see them on the pre-show. Here's Damo kicking ass with a fucking dive after the New Day initially did a fucking insane double dive. But yeah, that was a mostly good match. I wish it was on the main card, but alas. Sanity picked up the win, which they should. Which I guess is a big win for them. They're beating the New Day, but at the same time, they only beat the New Day. Hopefully they get into the title picture because of what happened later in the card with the Bludgeon Brothers and Team Hell No. I'd very much like to see Sanity versus the winner of that match, which we'll get to soon. This was a good spot. This was the victory of the spot with the Sanity match. Eric Young bringing Kofi Kingston through the table. It was a nice spot. Very good. Then the main card, the not pre-show match opened with Bray and Matt Hardy defending titles against the B team. Ronda Rousey was ringside. Good for her. I'm glad they kept her ringside for the whole show and not just the match that she was involved in. They didn't cut to her a lot like they did John Cena for WrestleMania, but it was nice to see that she was there. She seems to be having a good time. Still seems ridiculous that she has to pay for a ticket, but yeah, I guess kayfabe. These guys had a decent match. The B team have lost a bit of steam, but I think the title one was the right decision, despite the fact that it was a bit surprising. I'm a little disappointed for the Leaders of Worlds because they're a lot better than losing the title to the B team, and I hope they do more stuff. My initial thoughts were that because the Revival were backstage for Raw this previous week and they were watching the B team match, so what I thought would happen would be that the B team would pick up the victory by DQ and not get the titles. The Revival would either in the process of the night or at some point in Raw injure them and leave them out of action for a little while, which would then lead to a The Leaders of World versus Revival title match at SummerSlam, which would be sort of final deletion style Matt Hardy bullshit going on, and somehow like whether it's via Leg of Reincarnation or something that the B team would show up there and help the Leaders of World with the victory. Clearly that did not happen, since as you can see now the B team are now the Raw Tag Team Champions, which good for them. You know, Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas both good, despite the fact that they have been mostly reduced to a comedy act. But it's a good comedy act at least, so there's that. Decent match. They had interviews. The mic is the strongest segment of the B team, so good for that. Constable Corbin versus Finn Balor was a match. It happened. It was mainly boring as I thought it was going to be. There was no stakes involved in this match whatsoever. Do you know what? I don't even remember who won. I think it was Finn. I believe it was Finn, yeah. I like the space pants that Finn is wearing here. It looks like he's wearing tinfoil. Finn did win. Thank you, Caleb. Yeah. What that means for Finn or Corbin going forward, I have no idea. Probably nothing. Because this whole pay-per-view was like a lead up to SummerSlam. I tweeted out, in fact, during the show last night that the entire Extreme Rules felt like the pre-show for SummerSlam. So, yeah, you can see pretty disappointing match, to be honest, because I know both of these guys can do better. Then a backstage segment where the Bludgeon Brothers take out Team Hell No. They end up injuring Kane in the process. This was on the back of Kane having a legitimate injury on his left leg just before the match, so they're trying to cover for that. We'll get to that later as the match happens, but yeah, backstage segment, both of them taken out. Asuka and James Ellsworth in a cage versus Asuka and Carmella. Wait, no, that's not how it works. Asuka versus Carmella with James Ellsworth in a cage above the ring. I love Carmella with the title. I love James Ellsworth. I feel bad for Asuka, but I think she'll get something better off of this. So the match kicked off. It avoided the long wait and basically started the shark cage shenanigans early with James Ellsworth passing Carmella a chain, the referee spotting it, getting that, passing down the spray, Asuka managing to grab it out of her hand. James Ellsworth picked the lock and tried to climb out of the cage, and this led to him dangling and Asuka basically beating the shit out of him, which was fun. He's like a really ugly pinata, but yeah, it says here the world's worst pinata. Then he just Carmella ends up winning the victory off the distraction. Carmella's still champ. I'm actually happy about that. Despite the fact, like I said, I feel bad for Asuka. I think she should start winning more matches and start to prove why she was dominant in NXT. That might not happen, but we'll see. And yeah, he started suplexing Ellsworth, which was a little bit satisfying. This might actually lead to a mixed singles match, which is something we haven't seen in WWE for a long time, which I'd be honestly happy to see. Because we have mixed match challenges more recently. So yeah. Caleb asks if I am watching tonight's Raw on Rabbit tonight with them, and yes, I will be. I'm excited to see what happens with this week's Raw, whether Brock Lesnar will show up. That was another thing that happened in the show. Kurt Angle gave 2 options to Brock Lesnar. Well, 3 options. Show up on Raw tonight for Monday. Set a date for your next title defense, or you will be stripped of the Universal title. It didn't seem like it seemed like this was planned all the way, so it's not too shocking. But I'm getting a rapsy throat again. I hope I don't get sick again. Oh well. What was I saying? Yeah, it seemed like this was the plan all along, but I'm interested that the Brock Lesnar story is now progressing. I'm excited for the Paul Heyman promos that will no doubt ensue. Then, in the strangest result of the night, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Jeff Hardy for the US title. Shinsuke kicks Hardy in the nads and proceeds to Kinshasa him and pin him 1, 2, 3 in about 10 seconds. I thought Jeff Hardy deserved better. I've been vocal on my lack of interest in Shinsuke. I know a lot of people do love him. I just don't really care. But even so, I thought this was a shitty way for Jeff Hardy to lose the title. I don't think Jeff Hardy will be hurt too much by it in terms of his overall gravitas. But yeah, it was a bit shitty. It was a shitty match. I know these guys can have a better match than that. Shinsuke with the title. Randy Orton comes out and proceeds to also kick Jeff Hardy in the nads. Really bad day for Jeff. I wonder who he pissed off backstage. But Randy Orton's back. Maybe a heel. So yeah, that's nice. This is Kevin Owens on Raw, but we don't care about that. Kevin Owens and Braun Strowman actually had a pretty good match for the most part in the steel cage. Kevin Owens managed to get on some pretty good offense against the monster that is Braun Strowman. The only problem I have with this match is the end of it, where Braun looks like an absolute idiot. I'm okay with Kevin, because Kevin at one point handcuffed Braun to the rope and began to climb out of the cage, but he did so very slowly and looked back at Braun and laughed. I'm okay with that because Kevin Owens is supposed to be the arrogant heel guy. What I'm not okay with is how Braun ripped the handcuffs off, which was neat. It's Braun Strowman doing strong Braun Strowman things, which I'm happy with. He then proceeds to chase Kevin up to the top of the cage, and instead of throwing him back into the ring, which would have done a considerable amount of damage and end up him winning the match by just climbing out, he decides to lose the match intentionally and throw him at the table. It makes Braun look dumb. To an extent, I can see the argument for the fact that this match wasn't really worth anything. Braun just wanted to hurt Kevin Owens, as he's been doing on Raw for weeks. So I get this to some extent, but it does make Braun look like a little bit of an idiot. And it's also harkening back to 20 years ago, the infamous Undertaker Mankind throwing off the Hell in a Cell spot into the table, which I thought was nice. I think Braun Strowman is the spiritual successor to the Undertaker in WWE. He's been booked a lot like him. And I think Kevin Owens would make a good Mankind if they wanted to go down that route. Where they sort of are going down that route now, I think about it, because that insane table and ladder spot at Money in the Bank happened. Kevin Owens taking a lot of abuse through Raw, and then there's that. So maybe Kevin Owens, I believe he is going for a face turn, but I think the way they're doing that is building sympathy from Kevin Owens through just making him feel pain, which is interesting. It got Mankind over, but Mick Foley is an insane person. So yeah, this could work if they want to go down that route and make Kevin Owens face by just taking all this abuse. You have to remember that Mankind himself started off as a heel for a long time, and this type of shit got him over. So maybe they're trying to emulate that. Who knows? I'd like to see face Kevin Owens, who's just a tough ass guy who can take a beating. Yeah. Caleb says, "Oh my god, I just remembered the finish to this match. I'm pissed off again." Kevin Owens takes a hell of a bump here. In slow motion, it looks brutal. So I hope he does get more over as the fans start to realise that he's willing to take this punishment for them. Next match was Bludgeon Brothers versus Team Hell No. Kane didn't show up to the ring initially because he was injured. I'm getting like a blocked nose, so I'm getting all nasally. Daniel Bryan showed up holding his side, feigning the injury, was trying to handicap the match, but the Bludgeon Brothers are obviously too strong for that. He got in some good offense, but for the most part it was a Bludgeon Brothers dominance session. We got the yes chants and the yes kicks, hooray. I don't know why we don't see the finish of the match here. But Kane does show up at one point with the leg brace. Fair play to him for fighting the rest of the match. Daniel Bryan eats the pin, which keeps the Bludgeon Brothers as champion. Bit weird that Daniel Bryan took it instead of Kane, but whatever, I guess. Actually, a pretty disappointing match. I think it would have been better if Kane wasn't legitimately injured. I think they might have even won had that happened. But I'm excited to see, as I was saying before, a Bludgeon Brothers versus Sanity feud for the title, which I hope is what's going on. It could be argued that it's not good for a heel versus heel match for this, but Sanity are arguably a tweener, if anything. They don't really like care for anyone, so they're just doing their own thing. So they're like not really a face or a heel. So I would like to see Bludgeon Brothers versus Sanity at SummerSlam. I think that could be good. Roman Reigns backstage segment. He got boos until B Team showed up. Then there was some cheers, and then the B Team left, and there was boos again. Hooray! Don't boo Roman. Well, they did. Next up, which was probably the biggest surprise of the night, actually, in that Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley didn't end up being the main event, despite what most of us thought. It actually went pretty middle of the card, which is where it should fucking be. But yeah, potentially more surprising. They had a decent match. The crowd was not really into it, but I don't see why they would be. Bobby Lashley has been relatively lukewarm since his return, and Roman Reigns is Roman Reigns, so they're going to boo him anyway. They had a match. It was okay. It was nothing. I wouldn't call it good, but it was a match. It wasn't bad. Superman punch, typical Roman Reigns nonsense. What's maybe even more surprising than them not main eventing is Bobby Lashley coming out on top, which you would think now positions him to be the number one contender for Brock Lesnar's Universal Championship, which I guess we'll find out tonight on Raw. Which is interesting because one of the reasons when Bobby Lashley first returned, he cited a promise of a SummerSlam match with Brock Lesnar as one of his reasons for returning. Personally, since the idea of Paul Heyman maybe writing for Raw, if he takes over the Bobby Lashley segments, make him not talk as much as possible, it could be a pretty good build for what could end up being a pretty good match. Oh my god, my nose. Sorry. Yeah, it's all the drugs, you see. Uh, it could have ended up being a pretty good match at SummerSlam. Definitely more exciting than Roman Reigns. I don't know where he goes from here, but anywhere that's not the top of the card is good for him, I think. I think if he might not have to turn heel, I think he does, but just give him something else. Give him something where the limelight isn't on him and it doesn't look like he's been given everything. Make him lose a bunch of matches. Make him take the punishment that Kevin Owens is taking right now. Make him a heel. Make him fight Dean Ambrose. Like, what? Is Dean Ambrose back on Raw? I don't think that's confirmed. Then Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax in a pretty lackluster match as well. Again, that's the theme of this this pay-per-view, I think, is that a lot of the matches were not bad necessarily, but not good by any stretch of the imagination. Ronda Rousey gets involved at one point. My nose. Ronda Rousey gets involved at a point where Mickie James and Alexa team up on Nia, so she's trying to balance the scales. She's looking tough as ever. She's looking great as ever. I hope she gets a match at SummerSlam. Alexa, however, I don't know why we're showing Rusev here, but Alexa ends up getting the victory, which she should. She's a great champ. I don't think it's good for Nia to hold the championship right now, so we're maybe getting Ronda Rousey versus Alexa at SummerSlam, which I'd be happy with. Next up is Aiden English introducing the Rusev and AJ Styles match, which was also not the main event. They had a good match. Sad for Rusev that he probably won't get this spot on the card for a long, long time. But yeah, they had a decent match. Again, not great. I expected more out of these two, but there's not a lot of hype surrounding this match. It was sort of just thrown in as a bridge to SummerSlam, which I hope is AJ Joe. Sorry, Rusev, but I got to have AJ and Samoa Joe. So yeah, they had a good match. AJ picking up the victory, and they end up pretty cleanly with the phenomenal forearm, I think it was. The 450 splash here was when I thought it would be the end of the match, but that turned out to not be the case. It was a phenomenal forearm, I believe, that ended the match. AJ Styles picking up the victory to sweeten that little kid. That's awesome. Then the main event of the match ended up being Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler. Now, we finally get a pay-per-view where not only is Roman Reigns not the main event, but Seth Rollins is the main event with Dolph Ziggler for the Intercontinental Championship in a 30-minute Iron Man match. That's a dream that we never thought would happen in 2018, but it did. And they had an awesome ass match. This was easily the match of the night. It was head and shoulders above every other match in the card. It was constant back and forth. Ziggler picking up the early momentum with the falls. Rollins ended up coming back. Drew getting involved at one point, leading to a DQ fall. Being sent out of the ring. It was a really good match. The one criticism I had of it was the crowd finally got what they wanted, but they still ruined the match. In that the countdown timer was on the screen, and every time it got to 5, the crowd would chant 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, similar to the Royal Rumble, and it would do that every minute for 30 minutes. And even sometimes where they just felt like it, it wasn't even the right time to do it, they just felt like it. They took the screen or they took the timer off the screen at one point. They still did it. They brought it back. They did it even louder. I can see the argument now that we've had Seth Rollins Dolph Ziggler main event, the main event that we wanted and have been crying out for a long time, and the fans ruin it. I can see why Roman Reigns might not be the entire problem. It might be that WWE fans are entitled and they want to steal the show, I guess, which is Dolph Ziggler's MO, so you shouldn't be doing that while he's in the ring. But yeah, if you ignore that, which it's hard to ignore because it's going on throughout the entire goddamn match, Drew looked great helping out his buddy. He ended up costing Dolph Ziggler a fall through disqualification, but Ziggler ended up getting 2 falls off of that, so it actually worked out in his favour, so it makes sense. But after that, Drew gets sent out. Seth and Dolph continue to have an amazing match. Pretty awesome stuff. It ends in a 4-4 draw. Rollins can't get the pin right before the end of the timer, so it ends in a 4-4 draw. Hometown boy Kurt Angle, general manager, comes out and says, we don't want this to end in a draw. So we're going to restart the match, and it's going to be sudden death. So it's just going to be a normal match now. First pinfall or submission wins. Since the match was restarted then, Drew was no longer, I guess that's how wrestling works, was no longer exiled from the ring. So he very quickly stormed the ring, tried to distract Seth. He didn't hit him, but he did distract Seth enough to the point where Dolph Ziggler managed to get the zigzag on him and get that final pin to retain the Intercontinental Championship. Overall, very good match. Very good match. I'm glad Dolph Ziggler is still Intercontinental Champion because I believe he can do some good stuff with Drew. I think as well, it's okay for Seth to lose this match because putting him in the main event suggests to me that WWE finally see him as the guy. Sorry, Caleb, I'll permit you to post that link in chat. I am Caleb Plays. Sorry, but yeah, it strikes to me that WWE see him as the guy now, and they might want to position him higher up the card and not go after the Intercontinental Championship anymore, leaving room for somebody else to do that. Somebody younger, somebody a bit less experienced maybe in the WWE landscape, like Bobby Roode or something. But I believe that either Bobby Lashley or Seth Rollins or both could make a good case for the Universal title picture at SummerSlam. And also, they could put Braun Strowman in the mix now that he is the Money in the Bank. A lot of potential. I'm excited to see what happens with the Universal Championship going forward. But yeah, Extreme Rules was a shitty pay-per-view with a really, really strong end, I thought. And I'm excited for SummerSlam. But yeah, overall the pay-per-view sucked. And it's not really worth watching except for the last match. What is this link you sent me then? Hopefully this doesn't get me copyrighted, but whatever.
13 minutes remaining in the Iron Man match.
Yeah, this is just them counting down the
down to 13 minutes remaining in the Iron Man match.
Part of me wonders, because you can't see Seth's hand there, but like, I wish he should have done the way he sticks up his hand there. I wish he was doing the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 thing with his hand. That would have been cool. I can't hear. Hold on, I'll put on headphones and listen to what Dolph said. What did he say? That. Hold on. I think. He said this is worse than when the clock was on the screen, right? I think that's what he said. Just so you guys can hear it.
Iron Man match. We're now down to 13.
I don't know what Seth says, but yeah, that's pretty funny. Yeah, it's pretty funny. So yeah, everyone, that was the topic of the day. Extreme Rules. It sucked. I'm excited for Raw tonight. I'm even more excited for Impact this week leading up to Slammiversary next week. I'll probably do a recap of that next Monday as well. I might do even predictions this Friday on who I think will win all the matches. But yeah, Impact are consistently putting on better shows than WWE is of late, so hopefully Slammiversary can prove that they're the better wrestling brand at the minute. But hopefully leading up to SummerSlam, it's one of their big 4 pay-per-views. It's the biggest party of the summer. Hopefully WWE get a kick up their ass and Brock Lesnar shows up and we start to get good matches again. So yeah, that's pretty much all I had to talk about today. We did talk about a lot. We're nearly bridging on. I think we're over 2 hours now, right? So yeah, this was a bit of a longer show today, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, I'll need more topics for Friday's show, so please, if you're in Twitch chat, use !topic or go to my Discord. You'll find it under the Crack of Noon info channel there, and submit a topic for me to talk about, because it'll be I don't know what I was going to say. Yes, I need topics to talk about. So yeah, submit your topics and get me to talk about things that you want me to talk about. As for shoutouts, I don't believe we have anyone today. Just one since I was last streaming was official Dragon Star. I know her. I've watched her streams a few times. She's cool. So thank you for the follow, good friend. There was another 2 follows, but those were some of my alt accounts. My new bot that I have, RoboFin. I'm gonna ping him here. Beep. When you put beep in the chat, he writes boop, and it's great, and I love that. I know I programmed it. I know I made that command, but it still excites me. And then yeah. There was another follow from a very rude name, which I'm not going to repeat. But yeah, that's all for shoutouts. And yeah, I don't think there's anything left to talk about unless anyone in chat wants to bring something up. But yeah, once again, the arcade is tomorrow. Starting tomorrow and going through Wednesday and Thursday as well at 7 p.m. BST each day. We'll be playing Next Machina, which I'm very excited for. Hopefully you guys show up for that and get involved and get excited for that. We'll be back on Friday with another episode of Crack of Noon, since we're on Mondays and Fridays now. I know I've repeated it a lot during this episode. I want to get the message out there. To keep updated with me, follow me at real-. I'm going to pull up the name tag again there. Boom. Isn't that a nice name tag? I worked on that in After Effects. I'm pretty happy with it. Okay, focus. Yeah, follow me on Twitter for updates. Join my Discord to hang out and play games with people and have a good time all around. There's more updates there on stuff. And yeah, I think I'm going to cap off the show now. I might host someone. Yeah, it's Milliest. But yeah, I'm going to host him and then dip for now. So yes, I will see you guys tomorrow night for the arcade, and I will see you again Friday at the Crack of Noon. Till next time.